Hey everyone, welcome back to another build video. My name is Hexters, and today we'll be covering an effective build for the new Elder Dragon Kulve Taroth. Now, before we begin, I do want to mention that this build will rely heavily on jewel socketing and will be a lifesteal variant. Now for gear, we have the Devastation Thorns. This weapon I find to be slightly more effective due to the additional slot as well as being able to work around not needing handicraft. We'll augment this with the health regen. Next we have the Vangus Male Beta, Damascus Male Beta, Valhazak Braces Beta, Nergigante Coil Beta, and Giora Greaves Beta. Now, after socketing the jewels, for skills, we're going to go ahead and have the Attack Boost 4 for 12 attack and 5% affinity, the Recovery Up 3 for the additional 30% health from our Lifesteal Augment, Focus 3 to decrease the charge time on the charge slash, as well as increase our fill rate for our files. Partbreaker 3, which is extremely important for getting parts broken on Kulve Taroth. Peak Performance 3 for the additional 20 attack damage, which will be very easy to maintain with our Lifesteal. Artillery 3 for the 30% damage increase to our SA, or Super Amped Elemental Discharge. And finally, the Capacity Boost to increase our file capacity by 1. But let's go ahead and take a look at the jewels we socketed to achieve these stats. Alright, so we have an attack jewel in the charge blade as well as the helmet, a destroyer for the Partbreaker in the helmet, 3 medicine jewels in the chest slot, 3 artillery jewels in the braces, a magazine jewel in the coil, and another destroyer jewel in the greaves. Also, I highly recommend a fireproof mantle for this fight. I'll also be taking an affinity booster since we don't have weakness exploit. However, vitality mantle is another good option here as well. Now for the showcase, I will be editing the fight, so you don't have to watch, 15 minutes of straight gameplay just to do, some of the highlights.
There it is, at last.
Now, if you have not unlocked this fight, it is actually extremely easy as long as you've met some of the prerequisites. You simply have to be HR 16, meaning that you'll have to have completed the story mode. Once you've done that, if you go to the Ancient Forest area, in Zone 1, there is some golden scales, kind of by where the Piscine Fisher is, basically up on a platform. It's kind of hard to miss. Once you get that, you'll want to go back into town and speak to the commander. And you don't have to run all the way up to where he normally is. He'll actually be standing right in front of you when you come back into town. But once you've unlocked that quest, it has to be done. The quest itself has to be done in the Gathering Hall. Because there is no single-player scaling, I highly recommend to do it with your friends, or just grab a random room for it. Not many people die on him, so it shouldn't be too hard to group against him in a public match. Now, this is a new quest type also called Siege Mode. It usually will take doing the quest twice to complete it for your rewards. Now, another thing to note, your progress does not save if you leave the game. So if you're someone who only has a little time each day to play, I recommend to set aside about half an hour to an hour to make sure you complete both phases. Now, right now, I am currently in the second phase. Basically, you run the quest twice, and the second time around, it's much easier to break parts and chase her down. You'll also have potentially up to another 3 groups from the Gathering Hall, also dealing damage to her in their own instances. If they manage to break a part off, you may notice a message saying that another group has scored you some points. These points are what add up at the end for your rewards, which you collect from the quest girl behind the counter. Now, Kulve Taroth has 4 major areas. You probably won't make it to the 4th area on your first run, and that's okay. Now, in the area I'm in right now is the first area. Typically, you'll notice some cannons around this area, some easy places to knock boulders down, which I'm sure you noticed me doing a little earlier. Those deal just massive amounts of damage. I recommend picking up the stones in the first area to make sure you have something to knock those down with, though. The cannons also do some serious damage. I was actually surprised to see how effective they were, but... Oh, wait, here we go. Let's go ahead and show how much damage these do. There we go. 1500 damage. So as you can see, I mean, really, really impressive. Alright, so here we are coming into the second area. There's some bugs up there that you can swing from. Really, there's not a whole lot to do in this area except damage. Now, as you can see, that fire pool just does a ton of damage. So this really here is to showcase just kind of how much... Ooh, nice guard point there. It's really to showcase how much lifesteal this build does. There we go. Broke another piece off. Oop. Let me just go ahead and heal real quick. Now, some things to note about Kulve Taroth. He has one of the most interesting, as I've noticed, interesting weaknesses. When he's not enraged like this, fire helps him bring him to his enrage point, which makes that gold a little weaker. So it basically kind of heats him up. When he is covered in gold, oh, let me block. The lightning element is a 3-star weakness. However, if that gets broken off, he's immune to the lightning. But once it's broken off, he is weak, 3-star weakness to ice, which he's normally immune to until that gold's broken off. So I mean, it's really kind of an interesting fight here. Oop. Sorry, Gunner Lady. Yeah, so Dragon Element, it's a 1-star weakness when he is covered in gold, and then a 2-star when he's not. So, really just comes down to... There we go, broke another part. Really just comes down to, you know, having a nice mix in the group, or just go non-elemental. Oh, there we go. Now it's all broken off. So this would be a point where lightning is no longer effective against him, but ice is now a 3-star weakness. This is the third area. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here in this video, but there are some rocks a little higher up that normally hang from the east and west side of the rooms. Oh, that guy totally messed it up and missed that rock. That's okay. It happens. Just go ahead and sharpen here real quick. Alright. Now, something that I've been cutting out of the video is, between each area, there's going to be a ton of shiny drops. You really want to pick those up because a lot of his gear does, if you want to craft it, does take a substantial amount of those pieces. I think one piece even takes like 30 shell casings or something like that. But moving on, now we're in the final area. This is where a lot of people tend to, you know, fall apart. He has this massive AoE. I'm going to throw on my fire mantle for this part. But basically when he does that AoE, you want to be behind him. Do not run away from his face, you want to run past him. You'll probably get to see that here in a minute. Another mistake that a lot of people make is once you get to this point, there is no purpose to doing anything else other than trying to break remaining parts. But if you want to finish the quest, you need to be damaging those horns, which makes it really hard for melee classes. I'll typically come from back here and just use my files and try and get those hits like that. Oh, see, there's the fire. Now, I didn't take any damage just because of the mantle. As you notice, there's somebody else just finished and completely broke his horns. So there's 400 points to our total score at the end. See if I can get those horns. Oh, he turned. I think the only part left to break is the tail. Let me go ahead and pop an affinity boot, or I mean a demon powder for everyone. Ooh. See, there goes somebody dead. Another reason that I like the Charge Blade, it has such a it can block for this fight, which is a make or break. The damage is really good. Does a decent amount from Partbreaker, and those files, the range just makes it, really in my opinion, the best weapon to be using against this guy. Oh! Let me get out of there, and then we'll see if we can get a... Oh! Alright, we're going to pop a max potion here real quick. But yeah, moving through this part, let's try and get those horns. Oh! I think we broke his tail. Yep. There we go. Nice little head hit, and he's down. Okay. So I'm just gonna go to town here. I'm not gonna worry about charging my sword, because I just want to get as much damage off on his head as possible. I'm not sure where the gun lance is. That's what I mean about breaking the horn. So a lot of people keep attacking his legs and other pieces. And it's great to, you know, get those other pieces broken just for the higher score at the end. I'm pretty sure we're already at a 17 though. If another group already finished, I'm not worried about us not finishing. There we go, tripped him. There we go. And the horns are broken. Now this is the completion of the quest. You can't kill him right now anyways. He's gonna roam off, and then we're just gonna have some horns here to carve. Alright, so let me go ahead and make my way over here. Now the horns, you can carve the melded weapons and even the rare weapons from it. You get 2 carves per horn, so basically 4 carves. Alright. Oh, see there, we got 1 and 2. Now again, the quest girl behind the counter is the one you'll talk to after that. What was our time on that? Alright, so 13 minutes, 13 seconds for the second half. It's a little bit faster than average, but I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. If you did enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. I do also take weapon requests, so if you want to see a particular weapon, feel free to leave a request in the comments below. And as always, happy hunting!